Our next speaker is Jacquie Stevens of West Palm Beach, who will share a story about why celebrating holidays with joy is so important to her.
Live is live. Good evening. My name is Jacquie Stevens. I was born in upstate New York in the early 1960s. I was born the youngest of 4 children to Harry and Marjorie Smolak. My siblings were all a fair bit older than I am, which actually relates to my story a little further along. My brother Bill is 14 years older than I am. My sister Linda is 11 years, and my sister Sandy is 10 years older than I am. We grew up in Auburn, New York, which is pretty close to Syracuse and fairly close to Canada. So we had a lot of winter. We were inside for several months out of the year, and sometimes I wonder if that's why my mother loved the Christmas holidays the way that she did. Decorating for the holidays in the 60s and 70s was a little bit different than it is now. It was absolutely gorgeous, but it was a lot more flammable. Now I forgot. Isn't it? No, thank you, because that's going to happen.
That's why we do this.
We always had a live tree. We always had a live tree. And from me being a small child, I always thought that that tree was so big that when you put the angel topper on, it would touch the ceiling. Decorating the tree was, of course, a high point, as were the other decorations that we had out. We had a nativity scene that was very traditional. It sat on our console TV, so there was plenty of room on top. We had, a kaleidoscope that was behind the Christmas tree, and it shined the lights into the living room. And it was just so beautiful, and it made everything so warm. With the Christmas tree, one year we were decorating, and we tried to string popcorn. Well, I ate more popcorn than I strung. Putting the angel on the top of the tree was the last thing that we did, and it really filled my heart with warmth to see that. It was like a tradition. You know how smells can bring back memories? For me, the smell of baking turkey can drop me into my childhood kitchen at the holidays. My relatives in and out of the kitchen as my mom was cooking, conversations, laughter, drinks being poured, the sound of tinkling glass is so loud when you're a child. My mother with her hair salon curled, wearing high heels and a dress and her Sunday apron to cook these complicated meals with me completely underfoot. Because I was the youngest by quite a bit, I was really spoiled, and I still kind of am. My siblings were under direct orders from my parents not to tell me that there was no Santa Claus. Sorry, we're getting to an emotional part. That they were under orders to tell me there was no Santa Claus. There were cookies and milk left out every year, and they were absolutely consumed. There were always a couple of presents wrapped in different paper than the rest of them. To Jacquie from Santa Claus. I believed in Santa. Oh, snow! You know how he said we always had a lot of snow? One Christmas morning I looked outside, there were reindeer tracks.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea how my father managed it. I fell for it 100%. And I believed in Santa Claus until I was 8 years old. In 1970, strange things started happening in my life. My mom was in and out of the hospital with what I was told were gallbladder issues. In reality, she had a melanoma that was caught very late, and it had spread throughout her entire body. And on November 13th, 1970, my mother died. Losing my parent, my caretaker, at a young age like that, for me, felt as though the foundation of my life had cracked. Even the simplest, most routine things didn't feel simple cycle or routine anymore. Everything felt slightly off balance. And I don't know whether it stayed that way for a long time or if I just kind of got used to it. My father remarried when I was 11 and we moved to Florida. So now, not only was this my stepmother's holiday, but we were in Florida, and that was really different from Auburn, New York. Yeah, it was fun to call my relatives that first Christmas morning and tell them, yeah, I went swimming this morning. But overall, it was really sad, and it felt like I was pantomiming my way through the holidays. My father died in May of 1977. I stayed with my stepmother long enough to get through the school year, and then I moved to Philadelphia with my sister Linda. Linda is the one who started my obsession with Philadelphia sports. And at the time that I moved in with her, that I was dropped into her life really, she was getting her master's degree at Temple University in psychology, and she went on to get her PhD. She was probably the best person for me to go to. She was understanding and patient and kind, and she's been really wonderful to me throughout my life. I'm very lucky. So that first year, I moved in with Linda, Philadelphia, in the summer of 1977. And in the fall, of course, I started high school. And as summer turned to fall and fall turned to winter, familiar things started happening. The leaves turned, it snowed, we had Thanksgiving. And almost as soon as Thanksgiving was done, Linda was rolling right on to Christmas. Linda had had 11 more Christmases with our mother. So these traditions, these recipes, everything was second nature to her. Being with her at Christmas, going through the normal stuff, buying presents, wrapping presents, but then going through our mother's recipes and traditions. It didn't feel like we were just missing and mourning her anymore. It felt as though we were honoring both of our parents and moving on with love. Eventually, Linda moved to Ohio, and I moved back to Florida, where I got married, and in 1982, I had my daughter, Kathleen. My first marriage didn't last very long, and after I got divorced, Kathleen and I started going to Linda's for Christmas. Linda, by that time, had several children of her own, and Christmas was again becoming a really big deal for our family. As we got older, things changed. There was spode china on the table, and instead of a Christmas nativity scene, we had a whole Christmas village that we added to every year. And by the time our children aged out of putting it together, it took up a whole room. Our kids put it together every year, and it was just so much fun to watch the cousins drinking hot chocolate and putting this together. Where does the shop go? Where does the vet go? It was awesome to watch. Time goes by. My daughter graduated Florida Atlantic University, and she went to veterinary school, where she met the man she would marry when she graduated. In 2015, Kathleen gave us the best gift of all, our grandson Spencer. My husband and I decided that Christmas is best spent with a young child if you can. So we've spent every year with Spencer, every Christmas with him. Watching that little wonderful little boy walk down the stairs, and the joy that was reflected on his face, the Christmas lights. His eyes got so big when he saw all the presents. Watching him grow up and carry on conversations with us at the Christmas table. There's no doubt in my mind that Spencer loves Christmas as much as I did when I was his age. And now that I'm 60, things have gotten very fuzzy. It's hard to remember when we switched to turkey sausage or, when the small things happened like that. But what I've learned is that I was holding my mother very tightly with Christmas, as though by doing it right, I could break her back. The truth is, she never left. She's been in my heart the whole time. Which means she's been with us every Christmas. And what I've learned is that as good as the presents are, and I'm never gonna turn one down, as much fun as the decorating and cooking is, it's really your family, however that looks for each of us, that makes the holidays special.